Hi everyone, it's Vicky here from Crafty Heaven and thank you very much for joining me today. Thank you for joining me on my first video of my April card series, and this is a card that we're going to be making today. And how cool is this? So I was inspired by this picture on Pinterest and I just had to give it a go, and I thought that this series could be cards where we are using our basic shapes. So I was thinking squares, circles, hexagons and hearts, the shapes that you can cut with your paper trimmer or your scissors, and you don't need dies to do this. You know, like with squares, like I said, you could just cut it out with your scissors. Also circles, you could trace around. Hearts, you could draw. So you don't need dies to make these cards, and each card that I'm going to do is going to be very colourful. Now, if you don't have colourful, you know, bright coloured cardstock, you could use your markers to colour in your white card and, you know, do it that way. So there's alternate ways that you can make these cards that you don't need special craft supplies to do these. And I just thought they'd be perfect for some masculine cards and, you know, just fun, colourful cards. So like I said, this is the first one that we're going to be making in this series, and I absolutely love the result. Card is 8 1/8 by 4 1/4, and yeah, I just love the finished look. So I hope you enjoy this first card of this series, and let's get started. So for the card base, you're going to need a piece of white card that measures 4 1/4 by 8 1/4, and then another piece that's 8 1/4 by 4 3/4, and on the 4 3/4 inch side you'll score at 1/2 inch. And then we're going to add our glue onto this 1/2 inch tab, and then we're going to join these two together. Then you'll need to die cut some squares. So I've got these 3 different size squares here, and I've got a stitch edge, and the largest one is 2 inches squared. The next one down is 1 1/2 inch squared, and the other one is 1 1/4 inch squared. You don't have to use your dies, you can use your paper trimmer if you don't have these dies. Okay, so what I've done is I have 4 different colours. So I've got red, blue, green and grey, and I've gone from dark to light. So I've got the red ones here that I'm going to cut up with you. So there we have the dark to light, and I've die cut 2 dark, 2 medium, and then the 2 light, and that's for each colour. Okay, then what I've done is I've just simply cut these in half to get our triangles. So do that for all of your squares. Put them into groups. Okay, so when you've cut them all, you should have 4 sets of each colour. Okay, so I've got the 4 red, I've got 4 green, 4 grey and the 4 blue. A piece of scrap here, and this will get trimmed down, but I want to have this so I can line up my triangles straight, and then I'm going to cut off the excess. So I've just got my picture here on the side so I can figure out where I want my different colours. So I've got, it doesn't matter that this side isn't straight as long as one side is straight on your card. So I'm going to start off with the green. So we're going to add our first dark green triangle. Then I'm going to lay it on my card in that corner. Then I'm going to get the medium one, add glue onto the back, and I'm going to line up this edge with this edge here. Lay that one on there, and I want to make sure that I've got a 1/4 inch border on either side. Okay, and then add the lighter green. Line up this edge with this one here and place it so you have about a 1/4 inch border, like so. And you're basically going to glue each one like that. So you're going to lay them on top. Then next I'm going to go with the blue. So I'm going to get the large triangle and I'm going to line up that with the green one. And make sure that it's straight along the bottom here and also the side. Okay, so that's the first two colours. Then we're going to go with grey and red. And I'm going to add the grey one here. So make sure that it's all lined up on the bottom here. And glue these ones on top. And then we will add the red ones on there. So that's the first row done, and then you're just going to add the rest of your triangles till you get all the way down to the bottom. Okay, and then all we need to do is add that to our card base, and I think I'm going to trim that card base down. So I think I'm going to stick this down first and then trim it. So I'm going to add some foam pads to the back of this. To cut it down to 8 1/8, I think. Yes, so it's 8 1/8 by 4 1/4. I'm using the Made to Surprise Sentiments A5 stamp set, and I'm going to use from All of Us. This out with a stitch circle, and I want to leave a border around the edge, and this circle measures 1 5/8, so I'm going to die cut that out. And I hope that you enjoyed this first card for April series, and join me next week for another tutorial, and also join me on Thursday for another video as well. So if you enjoyed this, then please give it a big thumbs up. Please continue to support my channel, and as always, if the stamp set for this sentiment is still in stock, then I'll link it down below. As you know, CraftStash is closing in May, which I'm absolutely distraught about. I've been with CraftStash for 3 years now, and they have helped me get through a lot of things. And to be I remember the first day I joined CraftStash, when I became Helen's design team member. It was the day I took ill when I had my bowel disease, and I was seriously poorly. And I found out that day that I went into hospital that I became a design team member for Helen, and they have helped me through a lot, you know, taking my mind off my disease, and just, yeah, it's just been amazing. And it's so sad to see CraftStash go. And I know that Helen, who is Simply Made Crafts, Card Making Magic and Made to Surprise, are staying, and they're going to a new home. Obviously I don't know any more than that, and I'm hoping and praying that I get to continue doing design team work and continue working with the new home that these guys are going to. But we'll have to just see. And it's the not knowing is the bit that's difficult, because, well, you know how difficult it is with the business industry and things like that. But I'm hoping that we can continue with them. But like I said, if this is still in stock, then go and grab it while it's still available, because once it's gone, it's gone. But yeah, I'm just so thankful that I had this opportunity to work with CraftStash, and I'm hoping that I can continue working with the new home that they're all going to. But anyway, I'm not going to say any more, because until I know, but it's, yeah, it's quite upsetting. But anyway, take care guys, see you soon, bye.